We like to record the interviews, and then Mark can watch them
Mhm.
afterwards too. Cool. So yeah, so you don't need the deep knowledge of any of these things. It's just useful to have a little of that. And do you
Sure.
have media experience? And you've made videos, I'm sure, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely have media experience. Um, both from I made some films, a couple films, not for a while. It was in high school that we had a film class, so I made some short films then. And I guess I have media experience just uh, doing photography. I can share my photography page. It's a Google Photos page. Just been taking a lot of pictures
Oh,
here in Chile.
I'm sure.
So
Sure, it's beautiful
um,
there.
yeah, it's southern Chile. So it's really a pretty area.
Yep.
Um, but I mean, media is in everything. Even if it's just recording a Zoom meeting, it's like, oh, that's
Right.
media that you've
Right.
made. Hey,
Everything is media now. That's
you
part
know,
of what we're talking about in this course is that everyone's a media
yeah,
maker, whether you know it or not. You may as well be a
yeah,
conscious media maker and
yeah,
get some of those skill sets, And so this really is
yeah.
a course about how to make movies. Like technically, you can go on YouTube,
Sure.
look that stuff up. It's more
Yeah.
about going through the journey and it's we call it an upgrade for your perceptual operating system. It's like
Sure. Sure.
all the people who took our last course came out of it and were like, wow, it changed my sense of self, other, and world. Like how I
Hmm.
you just see more depth and more span is the way we describe it.
Yeah.
Greater
Yeah. Yeah.
perspectival depth and span. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
you're in Chile, which is I guess only 3 hours behind us, so it's or ahead of us rather. So it's pretty
Yeah. I
nice.
came here. I came here because I'm a mediator in Mountain View, and also in the civil courts in Santa Clara County. So I came here to learn Spanish for because there's so many cases that take place only in Spanish in
Right.
the area.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and so that's and now all of that is going online to Zoom too. So there's all these weird opportunities that are opening up remote, for remote opportunities that weren't there previously.
Hmm.
So it's a changing time.
And maybe you could stay in Chile and still be a mediator for Santa Clara.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Who'd have thunk it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And I mean, Chile, I'm sure
Yeah.
is a nice place to be anyway. I'd never been in anywhere in South or Central America until last year. I went to
Mhm.
Peru, so
Oh,
that
cool.
was fun. That was the first time
Yeah.
in other continents, but not
Ah,
South
yeah.
America.
Did you visit the Sacred Valley?
Yeah, 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 I was in the Sacred
Yeah.
Valley. I actually went
Of
with
course.
Dennis McKenna on an
Okay.
ayahuasca
Sure.
retreat. So it was
That's great. I'm sure that was awesome.
a trip. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
exactly what you think. He's like a nerd scientist, dude,
Uh-huh.
like a really awesome guy. So we were all hanging out,
Yeah. Amazing.
a group of.
Yeah.
But that was fun. I'd never done ayahuasca before, although I was already quite friendly with DMT. So it's my hobby.
Sure. Sure.
But
Yeah. That's
but
great. That's
be that as it may, though. So yeah. So I mean, this class is just sort of a fun operating system. Since you know Mark, you probably have kind of heard a lot of different elements of it. And we're just trying
hmm
to make it kind of more user friendly. And so, what is your
Yeah.
goal in the class? Like, what do you hope to take from the class?
Um, kind of a good working knowledge of integral theory and how to express it to others, kind of because I understand the base structure. I've, you know, read enough about it, heard enough from Mark enough to kind of grasp it, but just to be able to, give a bare bones explanation to, any given person. I guess that's sort of the gist of it is like, this this sort of theory can be taught to anyone or should be able to be taught to anybody, so just to you know because
Mhm.
from what Mark has told me and what I've read, it's like, oh, this is super useful, super applicable.
Yeah.
um
Yep.
why not have it be more accessible?
Yep. Definitely. Well, I say that article I sent out, the integral operating system one, is sort of the best kind of overview. Although it's not easy. That's one of the things. It's not
Yeah,
something you can explain with a few sentences. What is integral? It's a
yeah,
whole structural way of looking at the
yeah,
encompass a broader set of patterns and what.
yeah,
So I mean, that article is not. I mean, it's a relatively long article, kind of unpacking it in a really user friendly way. But the
sure,
point of
sure.
the point is that if you know it and understand it, you can just see it in different places, and then it enables you to
Mhm.
unpack situations from more different domains. So if you want to communicate
Yeah.
with media, you don't only want to be communicating to people who are like you and who think like you, because it's very easy to fall
Mhm.
into that trap. Especially in the transformative media world, a lot of the people are very pluralistic, and they assume that everyone
Yeah.
watching is also pluralistic, and therefore,
Yeah.
and then the whole communication strategy a lot of times can be a turnoff to somebody who's not in that world already.
Mhm.
Can be triggering.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, there's yes. There's definitely some what do you call that? When it's a religion and there's different sects, or the
there are echo
Shias and the
chambers
Sunnis
and
almost.
bubbles, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and our
Yeah.
problem now, I don't know if you watched The Big Picture of the Now, which is an interview I did with Mark. That was another one of the links we sent
Mhm.
out as one of my podcasts,
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
talks about our problem is that we have three structures of consciousness that are vying for power now in society.
Yeah. Okay.
All of them are
Yeah.
pathological because they're not transitioning, and our technologies are 4 and 5 stages ahead of the base one.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
rather than just the transition from mythic to rational, which was like the Industrial Revolution, which was only one stage of consciousness,
Mhm.
from the mythic structure to the rational structure, which is like science and technology and machines and things that can be understood and objective truth and that kind of stuff. That was only one stage, and that was a very difficult
Yeah.
transition. Now we're
Yeah.
3 stages ahead of that, and there's still people who are at the mythic stage who haven't really transitioned. There's still
No.
people at the
Yeah.
rational. All of our systems are rational industrial systems that are no longer capable of solving the problems that we have because they're global problems that can't be solved from the nation state perspective, and
Yeah.
can't always be
Yeah.
solved with objective truth and rational stuff. There's a limit to that way of knowing. So
It's
all these,
it's yeah. It's sort of it's crazy. Yeah. It's nuts. It's really like there's
so we're in a very kind of dangerous time, especially now with COVID. Extremely
it's
dangerous,
yeah.
but also a lot of opportunities because a lot of people are starting to think in systems terms in a way they didn't. So
Yeah. No. Yeah.
a lot of people could tell you our medical system is fucked up, and our health, our
Sure.
education system is fucked up, and our food system is fucked up. But now people
Yeah.
understand these aren't just one independent systems. There's a meta
Mhm.
system that they're all in, and the meta system is fragile.
Yeah.
And there's fragility in all these different elements of it. It's not robust. It's designed for efficiency and therefore small interference. Oh, there you go. Small interference can actually shatter the whole system and throw it all into
Yeah.
disarray. And so that ability to think in systems is also a big part of this.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's exactly. Yeah. Having this tragedy is actually bringing people into yeah, out of their bubble, basically. Having them, forcing them to see like,
in,
oh,
in both good
there
and
are
bad
consequences.
directions. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why we need a million media makers to
Yeah.
bloom. So,
Yes.
yeah, what would you
Yeah.
say are your learning edges? Like, where do you think you need more work, or you?
What do you? So I didn't. So learning edges is it's like where. Can you explain that term to me a little bit,
Yeah, like
or
where do you think is the edge of your knowledge or experience, and what's the one you want to leap past, maybe, or
I
what do you
see.
your limits or the particular
Um,
thing that is like you're waiting to jump into?
oh, sure. I mean, I'm working on language now. Like that's kind of like a learning edge, I guess. It's just learning Spanish, learning
Right.
better communication skills. Learning mediation. Um, mediation techniques. So that's sort of like generally that's where I'm at, like how to diffuse conflict, or how to do it, and how to do it in another language, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And definitely like my learning edge, I guess.
Cool.
Um, and if that can be applied to media, great. Or it has to be, basically, like if we're gonna have meetings on Zoom, for better or worse,
Yeah.
it's like I can't tell somebody's body language as well, and over Zoom as I can in person, but I still have to try or figure it out, basically. Like,
That's cool. This
um,
should be really
yeah,
useful to try to figure out how to apply this stuff in Spanish.
yeah,
How to
exactly, yeah,
communicate integral structures in Spanish. So that'll really
sure,
challenge your language skills, because a lot of this is
Yeah.
like there's a lot of subtlety in language that can,
Hmm.
even in English, people don't really realize that when you're kind of trying to
Yeah.
unpack a situation from the all four quadrants, the interior and the exterior and the individual and the
Yeah.
collective. So you're seeing all these things. That's cool. And so
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess the time works for you. We moved it to
Yeah.
noon, 3 p.m. Mondays for you, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
And then the final one, I don't know if you've already been in communication with Anna, who's the finance fairy,
Yeah.
who's George's wife. So as far as
Hmm.
finance and payment and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was able to pay her, so everything is set
Cool.
for
Cool.
that.
So you're good there. Did you have any other questions? I know you're at the orientation, so you have a pretty good idea of what's going to be unfolding.
No, yeah, was everybody okay with the 12 p.m. time? It seemed like it's a really good group.
Yeah,
Um,
seems like a great group. I just brought in another friend of mine who I met actually on my
mhm.
trip, who lives in Toronto now. And then we have another woman,
Yeah.
Anna, who's joining us, who wasn't there, who's from Arcata, who's really cool. She's
Okay.
permaculture and permaculture
Yeah.
magazine.
Great.
And then I
Yeah.
just talked to a woman in Italy who's also joining us, who also doesn't have much background in integral, although she's read Reinventing Organizations, which is an organization book
Mhm.
based on integral theory. So she actually does
Yeah.
have some knowledge. So it's going to be a fun group, I think. And then I'm trying.
Yeah.
There's a young woman who's from San Diego, but she lives in Paris now. Is a really talented artist and does 3D
Uh,
animation. I'm trying to get her. I really want
yeah.
her too, because I want as many young people as possible and as many women as
Sure. Why
possible.
not?
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys, you guys are the ones who are actually going to be creating the future, not us. So all we can do is try to
It's,
help steer the ship a little bit. But
I
we'll,
mean, no, people make stuff well into their 80s, so
yeah.
it's really
But
it's an
but the
interesting
structural
time.
shifts, I think young people are in different category of human actually.
Yeah.
Just based on things that I know about,
Sure. Yeah. I
even
know.
things like guitar. Jimi Hendrix was considered a great guitar player in the 60s, and now on YouTube there's like 1,000 9-year-olds who can shred. Their starting point is that they shred like Hendrix. I'm a magician, and
Mhm.
it's like the same things happen in magic. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
ton of kids, all of whom are better than anyone was when I was there.
Interesting.
Like it's just like quantum leap.
Yeah.
And that's true in
No.
every musical thing, every
Yeah.
artistic thing. There's a
Yes.
generation of young people, and because you're growing up with so many different worldviews and points of view that you're just
Mhm.
coursing through, so you're just naturally more going to think more in integral terms. So that's why
Yeah.
if we can help to illuminate it and enumerate it, if they said kind of put a name onto it and what it is, and so help people realize, oh, this is what this is. How can I make this happen more? That's what we want to do.
Sure.
It's great that
Sure.
we're great. We're happy to have you in the class.
Yeah. No, thanks so much.
Yeah, it should be fun. And I guess we'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Mark will be there, and we'll be
Yeah.
ready to rock and roll. And how long are you staying in Chile for?
I mean, I'm basically stuck here, so
Oh,
I'll be here for a while. I don't know how long. At
oh,
least,
so you're basically just there because of the quarantine. You're just staying.
yeah, it's half and half. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
It's a good place to be. Good place to learn Spanish. So,
yeah, definitely. Well, that's cool.
yeah,
Enjoy
yeah,
it while you got it. Of
exactly.
course, you
Yeah.
can't really go anywhere and talk to anybody, but
No, but yeah, I'm pretty
yell
happy.
across from your balcony. Buenos dias, señora.
my my roommates, luckily I have roommates.
Oh yeah,
So
¿cómo está?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, sounds
I'll
good. And
talk to you on Monday.
yeah, definitely. I'll talk to you on
Thanks,
Monday.
Jonathan.
See you
Appreciate
later,
the
guys.
call. Take
Yep.
care. Bye.
Nice talking to you. Bye.